Let me rephrase what I just said. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, this right here, this is what she needs to stay as for the rest of this fucking thing. Cold blooded.
Uh, yeah, uh, yeah.
Good God Almighty. It truly only took 4 episodes. No, I take that back. Because I feel as though after Joel's death, this season was seriously lacking in the crash out Ellie department. My complaints, you can go back to the previous reviews for the last few episodes. Post episode 2, the direction that Ellie's character was essentially going in was the wrong direction. It was completely bad, a horrible adaptation. And my reason for saying that is that in comparison to her video game counterpart, she is not, to quote a friend of mine, she is not on that fuck shit. There's no laughter, there's no joking around. It's I need to kill this bitch. Fuck Dina, fuck Jesse, fuck Jackson, fuck everything else that's going on and them not sanctioning this shit. I need to wrap my hands around this bitch's throat. She's gotta go. I've gotta get my lick back. I've gotta spin the block and kill this bitch for Joel. That was video game Ellie until, I would say, until post Seattle. Because in the video game, if you understand what happens post that, there's a little bit of there's trauma. There's a lot of trauma. There's even more trauma because of some events that occur. But there's the search for Abby in the second half of the game was more about figuring out these emotions that I've been keeping bottled up. Whereas in the first half of the game, the search for Abby is pure rage. I gotta kill her. Second half of the game, it's I gotta find her and I gotta kill her. But there's something else that's like a knot inside my stomach that I don't understand. And it isn't until they're on the beach that she finally figures out what the fuck that notch is. That knot is. But in regards to Bella Ramsey's character, they were fucking up Ellie. 100%. The jokes, the quips, the I'm gonna be a dad. No. All of that was horrible. All of that was bad. Finally, this episode, especially the hospital scene towards the end, is the crash out Ellie that we've essentially been waiting on for 2 episodes, where it's all business, running into gunfire, not giving a shit about the fact that people are basically trying to shoot her and kill her because she's so hyper focused on the target in front of her. Um, Not giving a fuck about the reason that Joel did what he did and is only there to get that lick back. Like, you and your whole crew gotta go. I made up my mind before I left Jackson that you and your whole crew gotta go. And I'm here to collect. Realizing she's not gonna get the information out of her gently, picking up that pipe and just start swinging. One of the things that I do like, maybe it's just me, but it really did seem as though the beating that she gave, I don't fucking remember her name, Abby's gang number one, the beating that she gave her really seemed to reflect the beating that they gave Joel, which is she went for the leg. Like, instantaneously brought that bitch down. I don't know if she shattered the knee or she shattered like the whole fucking leg, but she went for the leg. And she kept beating that leg until it looked like it turned into fucking mush or paper mache and it just crumpled. Love it. Because for the most part, we were waiting for the more brutal version of the character. I feel like we're in a Taika Waititi situation in regards to Thor: Love and Thunder when you compare it to like Thor Ragnarok, where the seriousness and tone of the story was there, the themes were there were jokes spread out in the middle that were really really good, but then in Love and Thunder there were too much jokes when the situation was serious and probably would have been better being focused on. That's basically her character in a nutshell. From the beginning of this journey all the way up to fucking Seattle. The quips and the joking, it just didn't match the energy that the character was supposed to have. So I'm 100% there, and I'm 100% happy for the fact that we finally got Crash Out Ellie. Hopefully, we're also going to get Crash Out Tommy now that we know that Tommy's in Seattle. Um, Another thing that I like is the cult whose name I never remember. Like I'm on the top of my head, I'm thinking Seraphites, but they're scars. Well, scars is what the WLF called them, but I do believe that they're called Seraphites, something along those lines. I like the fact that they came across them and we get to see them doing their ritual shit, and it's just as horrific. I really feel as though this episode has some really, really great scenes. Um, that scene was fantastic because there was so much tension in that. And you're like, yo, they just gutted my man in the middle of the fucking woods. The scene with the stalkers, also fantastic. I love the fact that when she first flicks up the light and you see the stalker and it crawls behind the box, there's only one. Then they go back down and they talk a little bit like, all right, so we gotta break up and we gotta sneak it behind this motherfucker. We gotta kill him. And then they peek back up to look, and now there's two, and they're like, okay, new plan. We might need to get out of here. And then they look again, and there's like five, and you're like, all right, dog. It couldn't be me in that situation, because in that situation, I'm running direct. Well, I mean, they ended up running in that direction anyway, but I feel as though if they had decided to just like dead sprint to the door, they would have probably been able to hit the door and probably just start hoofing it to get out of that plant without the WLF being knowing that they're there. WLF would have probably reacted once they saw one of the stalkers like out and about. But then again, the stalkers are super fucking smart, so they would have probably avoided the lights and decided not to come out and just stayed inside the building waiting for people to come in so they can jump them. But I do feel as though there was a lot of time for them to basically get the fuck out of there. My man Jesse finally showing up. That's also fucking great. Dina getting the I don't even remember if that was in the game. Because to be fair, when I played the game, I wasn't really invested in Dina. I feel as though she's way better written and handled in the show, where her character in the show is keeping me more engaged than her character in the game. But I don't remember, unless that was something that happens on like a side conversation. I don't remember that particular conversation about her past, about how she ended up in Jackson. So it was great hearing her story. Um, on the Patreon, if you're watching those episodes with me, that scene in particular, like I was locked in. Like just hearing her backstory, that was fucking great. And of course, the entire episode ends with a flashback, which is probably going to be the trip to the museum, the revelation that Joel did lie to her at the end of episode one. At least that's what I'm hoping that's going to happen next episode, and the falling out that essentially occurs between the both of them. So it's going to be an emotional good time because this may be the last time we see Pedro Pascal. Maybe we'll probably see Pedro Pascal one more time after this, but this should be the last major time we see Pedro Pascal as George Miller. George Miller. The fuck? Joel Miller. But let me know what you guys think about this episode. Comment down below, and I will catch you in the next one.